I am Silas' younger brother. So I'm the fourth brother, and we have a little sister Naomi. When I was prepared for this speech, I wanted to get inspired. So about a month ago, I thought, what better way to get inspired and get ideas going than to go to the place the memories all started, Terra Center Elementary School. This is the elementary school that Silas and I went to. But then I realized that it was a school day in May, and that there were kids at the school, and so I decided not to go. Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about how much we've grown, Silas. Silas and I shared a bedroom together for the first 17 years of your life. Silas was 17 when we stopped sharing a bunk bed together. 17 years old, and I was 15. And we were always together. Silas and I were always together, and so we always had to try to find ways to entertain ourselves. He had Sean the sheep, I had Blake the bear. I was afraid of the dark, he wasn't. We would have to alternate days of sleeping with the nightlight and the door open on, and alternate it because I was scared of the dark. And I would call it my day, he would call it his day. We had a little dance we were doing, it was our day, we were so happy. But he always makes fun of me for it. But he has some weird things about him too. He used to love saving things under his pillow for later. One time he put a push pop, you guys remember the push pops? He put a push pop underneath his pillow for months. The same push pop. The same blue push pop. And every once in a while he would open it and lick it. And then put it back under his pillow. So sharing a room with Silas has looked a lot different over the years. As you know, we lived together in India. We lived there when I was 4 and he was 6. We were still sharing a room, the same white bunk bed. And eventually we moved back to America. Same white bunk beds came back with us. And Silas and I became really competitive with each other. Like I said, we were together always, so we found ways to entertain ourselves. And one way that we did that was play this game called tackle football. Remember tackle football? We had an imaginary line that we made in our room, and we had a football, and we would take turns trying to tackle the other person, and so the other person couldn't get into the end zone. And if the person scored, we would switch. And so I always just let Silas score so that I could stay on offense forever. He hated that, and I never admitted that I would do that. But there were always little things like that when it came to Silas and I being together. We played this game called wall ball in our room. That was really fun. We had this blue, really nice, squishy ball that I loved. We had anytime that Silas and I have a coffee mug and we're sitting across from each other, we have this little bit that we do where we just go, so, why'd you call me here? And we just act like we're spies. We've been doing that since we were like 8. I don't know who started it. But another way that Silas and I entertained ourselves was through whistling. Silas and I, one of our secret talents that I'm proud of is that we both can whistle really well. I always would joke that we could just drop out of college and become professional whistlers. And so, don't take my word for it. You can judge us yourself. Silas, you want to whistle? Should I tell them this song?
No, I think okay. Our biggest problem is every time we try and harmonize with each other, we just laugh. So that's why our career hasn't taken off yet. It's a good practice.
Also, he did not know that I was going to ask him to do this. something about Silas that really defines who he is. And what I'm talking about is Silas's ambition. Silas has the most ambition I've ever seen. Whatever he sets his mind on, he will end up doing. To preface, Silas had the brokest jump shot I have ever seen. He had the slowest form. It was so slow. It would take 10 seconds to shoot the ball. And it just was a really bad form. But his ambition took over. He practiced daily. He woke up at 6 a.m. every day in the summer. We were in middle school, He would wake up at 6 a.m. and he would go to the basketball court, practice ball handling skills, and every single day in the summer for at least 2 hours. He would bring the cones, and he never had a day off. And I can testify to that. And by high school, he was crossing up everyone on the court with his ball handling, and he could shoot almost better than me. But, it didn't stop with basketball. Basketball quickly turned into running, which led to years of hard work and becoming the best runner in his school, as well as D1 college offers. And it also didn't stop there. He was an academic weapon. I think he had like a 4.3 GPA in high school. He got the best grades of our family, and it made our mom feel a lot better about our children. But Silas, the reason that I'm sharing all these things about you is because you're very special to me, and you deserve to be celebrated today. I love you so much. You set the bar so high with your work ethic and determination. The only thing I ever got over you is that one rugby making contest in 2016. I can say with pride that I'm a better rugby maker than him. At least that night. But I've always looked up to you, especially in these past 5 years since you went off to college. You have the determination to accomplish anything you want in this world, yet there's one thing that matters most to you, and that's your faith in our Lord Jesus Christ. This is the most powerful thing about you. It's not your accolades, it's how you know that you're nothing. So Silas, whether you're playing your cello, or cooking dinner for Kayla, or studying for law school, I want you to know that your heart for God is enormous. You have spent time in the Bible, learning the character of Christ, and your soul is filled with passion and thankfulness for Jesus. And man, have I been influenced by Silas. Just his trust in our God, the God that created the mountains, all of you, that same God. Silas trusted him with all his heart. And Silas, you helped lead me to believe in Jesus when I was coming into college, lost. And I'm eternally grateful. And for the ways in which God works through you and just makes everyone around him better. That's what you do. And Silas, today marks the beginning. Today is a great day. Let me not get ahead of myself. Today marks the beginning of Silas getting to spend the rest of his life with this beautiful woman here, Kayla. I say this all the time to my family, but Kayla is the best. And it's true. She's just the best. Right before this, I was raving about Kayla in the car with Silas. We were sitting there before coming in for the ceremony, and we were laughing, almost teary-eyed, just talking about how amazing you are, and just how lucky Silas is to get to marry you and be with you. And you're hilarious, and I think you're really funny. Oh, and Silas, you definitely stole Papa's pants and framed me for it. Even if you won't confess. Let's make a toast to the couple. To Silas and Kayla. Raise your glasses. Now I'd like to invite up the maidens. Maidens of honor. Anna, Sarah, and Mia.
So we're here today to talk to you about Kayla, who we have affectionately called in our family Small Fry, Kale, take forever to get her own food, and I'd always wait behind her very impatiently. And I think this frustration manifested into the name Snail Kid. In reality, though, we can't call her slow anymore since she is the first of the sisters to get married. So shout out Kayla. Really, doing things slowly is not a bad thing at all. Being slow means you notice the details one might miss if rushing. The observations and time Kayla takes when doing anything is because she cares about the thing she's doing. So Kayla is not only caring, but supportive. And I know I used to annoy her a lot when I was younger, but she still valued having a relationship with me, not just because we were sisters, but because she's my friend. I remember Kayla and I used to have roast battles, where we would literally just back and forth insult each other. I'm not sure if Kayla liked these, but I did, and so I think she let them happen. As we both got older and it was time for Kayla to go to UVA, we became much closer. When Kayla went to college, it definitely hit harder than when Hannah and Sarah left. No offense. Sorry, guys. Just because Kayla has always felt like my protector, and the one who's older than me by a little bit, I guess.
7 years?
Yeah, it's only 7 years. I remember when a kid who lived in my neighborhood tried to throw chalk at me, and Kayla really wanted to beat him up. Or when Hannah used to babysit me when I was really young, and she would just put me straight into timeout, and Kayla would always try to bail me out, and she'd always defend me. Kayla has given me advice, sometimes to my annoyance, been a shoulder to cry on, and a smiling face happy for my accomplishments. And I know everyone here has experienced these characteristics of Kayla in action. She displays genuine empathy and meets people right where they are. I'm so happy for Kayla and Silas, knowing that someone will take as good of care to Kayla as Kayla has to ever.
Okay.
Hey Kayla. I think there's some people that are like literally so special that it's hard to put into words all the things that are just amazing and all the love that you feel about them. And so I'm gonna try my best here. So one thing that I have always admired and looked up to you for, Kayla, is your commitment and your love for family. To you, togetherness is a value that you hold dearly. And it's been a really incredible blessing to me and to our whole family. Even when times were hard, and maybe especially when times were hard, you chose and you still do choose to lean in, to see and to help us see the good, and to remind us that we're strongest when we're together. In our family, you've always been the patient peacemaker. In James 3, he says that the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. It is so evident to me that God has gifted you with wisdom because you embody peaceable gentleness and you meet everyone in the world around you with such openness and sincerity. And we as a family have really reaped the benefit of the harvest that was sown by you leaning into the gifts that God has given you in those things. And while I know that you will continue to be a critical piece of our family and our sister crew, the beauty of this day and of the future is that you get to bring all of that beauty and that goodness to the start of your own family here today. Silas, you have literally found gold. And I know you know that, and you know that for so many reasons, but for just one reason, to list one in particular, it's because Kayla always will, believe in and fight for and commit to you and the family that you build together for the rest of your lives, no questions asked. Through prayer and supplication, she will lead into what's difficult and continue to show up. and to seek the best for you as she's always done for all of us. And that's just who she is. And she'll do that through her peacemaking, and she'll also do that through the joy and laughter that she brings to your marriage. Another critical role that Kayla played in our family was being the dinner table crier. Not because bad things were happening at the dinner table, but because she has a very high propensity for crying when she laughs too hard. At one point, we kind of had a game going in our family to see who could make Kayla cry like first at dinner from laughing. Hannah usually won. So there we are. I don't know if there's anyone whose tears in the world have caused more laughter and joy than Kayla's have at the dinner table for us. But I say all that to say that, Kayla, you embody silliness and joy and mirth in such a special way where when you exhibit that, you can't help but bring others along into it. And I hope you know, if I have to admit it any day, it's going to be today, that you are so funny. You're so funny. Just as you hope to be. As you've always hoped to be. So yeah, I got multiple people to tell you you're funny today, so there you go. Yeah, so I'll just say, and pass it on to Hannah, cheers to many more laughs and subsequent cries, maybe too, both at old and new dinner tables. Kayla is my little adventure buddy. In the winter of 2021, we actually decided to take a little hike to the Blue Ridge Tunnel. And for those of you that don't know, the Blue Ridge Tunnel is like about a mile-long train system tunnel that's now been turned into a hike. Well, we didn't expect it to be so snowy and so icy, but as we were walking into this tunnel, Kayla decides to stop and tie her shoe. Thank God she did, because we both paused, and a second later, a 3-foot tall icicle fell in front and behind us as we were sitting there. Yeah, it actually turns out, I had to look this up, but about 15 people are killed by icicles each year. And I'm glad to say that we are not part of that statistic. Kayla saved us, I will admit to that, and it must be her nursing instincts that took over in that moment. And that wasn't even the first time that we had a little treacherous hike situation. We took a little trek up to Humpback Rocks in the pitch black dark and got a little lost too. But here's the thing, Kayla is always up for an adventure, whether it's going on a hike, or just going to Wegmans, or CVS, or to World Market to look for the golden elf and get a discount. Kayla is, she just makes time to be present with her people, because she values presence a lot. And Kayla, your presence is a gift. You're one of those people that I don't need to be anything with when I'm hanging out with you. And I think Sarah had said this before, but we don't even need words, because just being with you is enough. And you welcome people just very openly in that. When I spent time in the hospital, you got off of working your clinical shifts, drove all the way to Richmond, and spent time sitting in bed with me. You kept me comfortable in my uncomfortable state, except for that one time that I'm not going to tell 200 people. But she was practicing her new nursing skills wrong. You used to call me a cactus because I was prickly on the outside, but I had a lot of feelings on the inside and only let select people into them. But you're one of those people that always made me feel safe enough to share those things with you. You got to see the more vulnerable side of me. Thank you for making the space for people to feel loved and to feel seen.
I think all these people in the room also love spending time with you and with Silas. Both of your presence is a gift to all of us, and just thank you for that. But we're not just going to talk about Silas, or Kayla and they, we're also going to talk about Silas.
So I want to tell a story about the first time that I met Silas. I just remember it very clearly. Maybe you don't. From your face, you don't. I traveled to UVA I guess it was junior year of college, for a surprise birthday party for Kayla. And I didn't know anyone there besides Kayla. And I talked to Silas almost the whole time, which apparently you don't remember. Oh, you do remember. Okay. Yeah, Silas just like bopped over right to me and sat down, and we just immediately got engrossed in deep conversations. I don't remember what we talked about at this point, but I remember just being locked in. I was really locked in for like an hour. We were just sitting there talking. And I remember I left the party, and I texted Kayla, and I was like, so, when are you and Silas gonna date? And she texted back, like, no, we're just friends. We're definitely just friends. And I was like, okay. And then I subsequently, kept bringing it up every couple of months, and the family caught on, and they kept bringing it up every couple of months. Kayla kept denying it for the next 2 years, until one day she finally broke the news to us that she was going on a date with Silas, and we were like, told you! Which, if there's one thing about Kayla and I, Kayla gets very frustrated at the fact that I'm often right about things, and she's often wrong about things. And I'm so sorry to say it, Kayla, but I was right about this one. And you know what? It was such a good one to be right about. It really was. So as we have loved just getting to know you, and have loved just spending time noticing the things about you that we think make you fit, like a great fit for Kayla. And so we wanted to share some of those qualities that we noticed and had talked about just as we got to know you. So just, I think first off, one of the reasons I was like, yeah, they're gonna date, is because I saw you, Kayla, come alive in a different kind of way when you're around Silas. There was just such a comfort and ease about you guys just being friends and being together that I hadn't seen with Kayla and other guys. She, trust me, had been pursued by many a man and turned down many a man. But Silas was special for many reasons, as we see today. But it's just so clear that your life was enriched by his presence, and it just felt natural and right. Silas, we love that you bring out Kayla's silliness and her funniness, and you guys are just very silly together. They send us videos every once in a while in our family group chat, them just having funny conversations, doing silly things like driving U-Hauls around, preparing for their wedding, and talking about how high they are on the road. I don't know, it's like just silly little things. They're just happy to be funny and be together. But we also love that you hold space for her to be tired and mellow when she has a long work shift or is just feeling like there's a lot going on. You create just a safe space for her to land and to rest. And that's so important for someone like Kayla, who is always giving and loving other people so well. So thank you for, opening up your arms and letting her rest. That's so important. You're also someone who, to Hannah's earlier point, loves to take her on adventures. You told me for our bachelorette, we had Silas send in some video clips of him answering questions, and he shared about all these little adventures that they went on. And Kayla loves to, at least in the recent years of her life, go on adventures and be spontaneous. So thanks for just having fun with her all the time. You, like Kayla, value being present and supportive for people. Silas actually was the first person in Charlottesville who brought me a meal when I moved there. I just moved, I was in the middle of unpacking, and yeah, he just showed up at my house and was like, here's a hot meal for you. And it literally made the whole difference in the world when you move to somewhere new, just to be welcomed like that. But that's Silas. He always gives food to everybody. He's so generous, and it's been a gift to be able to receive that. You, like Kayla, are deeply committed to family, and we love that is like such a aligned value of yours. And then most importantly, you guys hold the same first love, which is Christ, and you both have encouraged and pushed each other to love him more, and I know you're going to continue doing that every day in your marriage, and it's only going to strengthen and grow you more together in love. So keep pursuing that first love. We love you a lot.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Sorry, we're not done yet. Surprise, we have long words. I'm so proud of you, Kayla. You've always been a role model to me. And I see how happy you are with Silas, and I see how you love each other, and you guys just love each other so much. It's really, really happy for you, and I just want you to remember that you're our forever best friend, and you can always come talk to us, and we love you so much.
I'm actually gonna read a card that Kayla wrote to me that I think sums up our sisterhood in a sense. So to borrow her words, I just want you to know that you can lean on us. And you can ask us for things. Two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. It's a gift to be your sibling and to have four of us to help each other up as we go through life together. And now you have Silas to also help you up in those hard times. But know that you also have all three of us in every season, the both of you do, to help you guys and to stand with you all. We love you both, and we're so excited for you. Cheers to Silas and Kayla.